Okay, solve using the quadratic formula. So the first thing we're going to do is get our discriminant and then plug it into the formula. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we're going to use this formula to get all these answers. So this one right here, solve it for 0 first. So 9x squared, the 6x will turn positive, minus 1 equals 0. Identify your a, b, and c. A equals 9, b equals 6, c equals negative 1. Then plug it into the discriminant. Get the discriminant first. So my b is 6, my a is 9, my c is negative 1. This is going to be 36 plus 36. This is going to end up being 72 in it. So my 72 is going to go inside the square root. So now I'm going to draw negative b plus or minus the square root all over 2 parentheses. So my b goes here, my discriminant goes here, and my a goes here, doesn't it? My b is equal to 6, my square root 72, and my a is 9. So this is going to equal to negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 72 all over 18. Okay, now then, you could stop right here, but we could simplify the square root of 72. 72 is equal to 36 times 2 in it. Okay, so I could simplify the square root of 72, and I'm going to do that for you. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 is 6, square root of 2 all over 18 in it. Okay, now then, this divides by 6, this divides by 6, and this divides by 6. So my final answer is going to be negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 2 all over 3. Both of these will be okay. We haven't simplified these a lot in class. Okay, right here, let's move over the 11 and let's move over the 6. So we're going to have x squared minus or plus 6x minus 11 equals 0. So my a equals 1, my b equals 6, my c is equal to negative 11. I'm going to plug it into the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. My b is 6, my a is 1, and my c is negative 11. Plug this as is into the calculator. You're going to get 36 plus 44. 36 plus 44 is 80. So this is my discriminant. Now then, I'm going to go over here. Negative b plus or minus the square root all over 2a. So my b goes here, my discriminant goes here, my a goes here, my b is 6, my discriminant's 80, and my a is 1. Okay, now then, this is going to end up being negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 80 all over 2. That would work, but 80 is 16 times 5 in it, which is going to be 4 square root of 5. So negative 6 plus or minus 4 square root of 5 all over 2. And then these three numbers divide by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my final answer will be negative 3 plus or minus 2 square root of 5. This and this would be acceptable on the test. Both of these would work. Let's do 25. Move over the 2. So we're going to get 3x squared minus 6x plus 2 equals 0. Get your discriminant. So a equals 3, b equals negative 6, c equals 2. Then b squared minus 4ac. My b is negative 6, my a is 3, and my c is 2. Okay, this is going to end up being 36. 12 times 2 is 24 plus 24, which will be 60, won't it? So my discriminant is 60. Now then, I'm going to do negative b plus or minus the square root all over 2 parentheses. My b is negative 6. My discriminant is 60. My a is 3. So 2 negatives make a positive. 6 plus or minus the square root of 60 all over 6. 60 is 4 times 15. So the square root of 4 is 2. The 15 stays inside. This right here would work on the test, okay? So if you get to here and know what to do, just stop. But right here, we're going to simplify it. 6 over 6 plus or minus. The square root of 4 is 2, square root of 15. And these three numbers would divide by 2, wouldn't we? So we would get a 3, a 1, and a 3. That's going to make this equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 15 all over 3. This is correct, but this is simplified. Right here, we're going to move over the 4x. So 3x squared minus 4x minus 1 equals 0. My a equals 3. My b equals negative 4. My c equals negative 1. B squared minus 4ac. So my b is negative 4. My a is 3. My c is negative 1. This is going to be 16 plus 12, which is 28, right? So my discriminant is 28. So negative b plus or minus the square root of 28 all over 2a. My b is what? Negative 4. My discriminant's 28. And my a is 3. This is going to turn into a positive 4 plus or minus the square root of 28 all over 6. 28's 4 times 7. I can pull out a 2. 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 7 all over 6. This would work if you get to it. All of these divide by 2, so I'm going to end up with 2, 1, and 3. 2 plus or minus 7, square root of 7, all over 3. So this and this would work. Don't worry about simplifying. We won't have that on the test, okay? If you get to here, you'll be okay.